All right, good afternoon. My name is Dean Lee. I'm the Senior Director in Product Management at Ixia. I can speak Chinese, but unfortunately I don't know how to do it in a professional speech. So I'm going to use English and give my presentations. But after the speech, if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me in Chinese. I understand very well. But what I'm going to present to you that has a lot of experience come from Ixia as a company, as a leader in testing and measurements. And I'm going to show you what we have today. So SDNFV, this is a great paradigm shift to get us a much better networking. And this is a very important advancement in technology to meet cloud and network virtualizations. And I have listed several top use cases here. And these use cases are quite familiar. I'm sure you probably have seen that many times during this week's conference. Like, for example, automated networking provisioning, so we can get agile services, right? SDN gave us the most important API for network configurations and visibility with the centralized control, right? So this is another advantage, another key driver of SDN. And network resource optimizations for network virtualization, network slicing, and most importantly, this is an enabling technology to support cloud and NFV. So carrier and enterprise around the globe are facing major challenges and roadblocks when they deploy SDN and NFV. One of the top on the list, I think you might have already heard that from different presentations, is really the lack of expertise and skill set. Somebody who knows the traditional network engineering and also virtualizations and software skills. These type of people are particularly important for carrier to successfully deploy SDN NFV and how to troubleshoot and how to resolve issues. And second one on the list, I will share with you, there's also a big question around especially carrier. How do we ensure the commercially over-the-shelf server pods with white box switches could be as reliable, could be as high availability as the traditional router and switches. I know router and switches has been around for so many years and has been highly optimized to give us the highest availability. So these are the top questions you're going to hear a lot from typical enterprise and carrier customers. And lastly, the new test methodology is needed. With the separation of control plane and data plane in the new SDN era, right? The testing we have done in the last many years, has to be changed. It has to be adopted to support these separate control and data plane. Okay? So new test methodologies is needed to support the success of SDN. And Ixia as a company, like I mentioned earlier, we have worked with so many leaders in the industry, especially in the network equipment area, network equipment manufacturers. We have worked with the top NEMs to advance SDN technology, and we have worked with the top carrier around the globe to understand their challenge and help them how to validate and deploy SDN NFV. So based on all these experience we have gathered for the last many years, I have put together a list, and these are the list for helping carrier NEMs and enterprise how to develop and also deploy SDN. And this list is not a complete list, but the top question in their mind and the top things they should check before you could make the SDN successful. So the number one on the list, controller. Does it meet the needed scaling and performance under the real world conditions? Is it a carrier grade services? Can it deliver the carrier grade services? I think this is a very, very key question, and it actually deserves a lot of attentions. Right? And our recommendation is it's a very thorough and rigorous control the benchmark test methodology. And today, within ONF, Open Network Foundations, Ixia is in chair position in the interoperability and test working group. We are working very closely with several test tool vendors to come out a standardized test methodology to certify a controller. And also within IETF, BMWG benchmark working group has an active draft today to define a control, SDN controller benchmark testing. Right? So between these two, major effort within the standard organizations, we are very close to have a common test methodology, so the vendor can easily, and also for the carrier, can easily certify and measure the performance of SDN controllers. And this type of test methodology, as you can see from the picture here, we recommend using a commercial test tool like Ixia IX Network. We can emulate hundreds or even thousands of SDN switches. And with this high performance and scaling, we can easily load and stress a single SDN controller, or it could be a cluster of SDN controller. And we support many different southbound API like OpenFlow, OBSDB, BGP, VPN, PSAP, and segment routing. Okay. The second one on the list is network infrastructure, or you can call it switching fabric. Is it sufficient benchmark to give us the needed performance, throughput, and latency? Right. So network infrastructure, switching fabric, this is the foundation of networking. Right? This is like a plumbing to interconnect all the services we want to deliver to customers. Right? So with the SDN, with the separate control plane and data plane, we will also need a new test methodology. And again, within the ONF interoperability and test working group, we are also working together with the vendor to come out a standardized performance benchmark to certify switching fabric. And our recommendation, as you see from this picture here, the device, the system under test is a group of SDN switches, switch fabric. And you can use the test tool like Ixia IX Network to emulate hundreds and thousands of hosts, VM hosts, for running applications. And you will also use IX Network to emulate a controller sitting on top, and it's able to speak many different API protocols. And with the control plane, and also you have the data plane as a traffic generator, you can control, you can provision the networking path. At the same time, load up the switch fabric to a fully matched or end-to-end full performance to really characterize the performance and scaling limits. And third one on the list is also equally important, resiliency and high availability. Right? So this is a question we have to ask: how quickly will this new SDN recover from failure? Right? Is it able to self-healing, and how efficient is the disaster recovery? So this is a very fundamental question and challenge we have to make sure we have a good solutions. And our recommendation is a lot of testing, and we have done this in the past many years, especially for the legacy traditional, IP MPOS network. A very good test methodology has been developed over years, and test tool is very mature to do this kind of measurement. And fortunately, this kind of measurement can also apply to SDN. Right? So with the tool that we have built in the past, IX Network TrueView conversions, This is a patented measurement. You could use it to measure many different types of resiliency and service interruption time and how quickly the services can recover from interruptions. Right? So typically we will have to simulate different types of failures. Right? This failure could cover many different scenarios, including the SDN topology, right? And observe the recovering time and monitoring the service degradations. So these are the key measurements that we need to make sure the new SDN has the same kind of resiliency or even better than existing network design. Next one is also very important. I think you have probably heard that many times, security. Right? Security is always on top of our mind. And with SDN, with this new network infrastructure, new network topology, how do we make sure that we have the same level of security like the network we have today? Right? And it could be even better. Right? Our recommendation is IX network breaking point security test. Right? I think you have heard from the speaker today, north-south security, we have good confidence, but east-west security is still a big question mark. Right? How can we make sure the vulnerability doesn't happen within the data center or between the customer's application that get hosted in the cloud data center and your DDoS mitigations? How do you ensure your DDoS mitigation is the same effectiveness in the new SDN infrastructure? So all these topics and questions need a much more thorough testing. And a lot of time, the same test tool, but you need to apply a new test methodology. So when SDN is in operations, we also need to make sure another checklist on the item. Is there any blind spot in physical or virtualized network infrastructure? Right? SDN is a key enabler to support network virtualizations and cloud computing. Right? So in today's network, we have done a very good job to provide a very good visibility. Like, for example, Ixia Vision 1. Right? This is a network packet broker switches together with the physical tabs. Tabs can break into network connection and monitor and retrieve the traffic between any two network elements. And it can route it to network packet broker like Vision 1 to give us a capability to filter and aggregate or packet duplication so we could provide a much efficient data feed for network analytic tool like APM and NPM. So this is what we have, pretty optimized very well for today's network operator, service provider, and enterprise. With the transition to virtualized infrastructure, especially in the data center east-west traffic, suddenly you may not have that capability to tap into network traffic anymore. So this new kind of technology, new kind of tap. Right? So Ixia has developed this Phantom VTAP. This basically is a VNF, but it's acting like a tap. You can deploy into the virtualized data center. And with the Phantom VTAP, or we call it Cloud Tap, we could work together with our new Vision 1, terminated at Vision 1 using different kind of tunneling scheme. So you could aggregate, you can monitor, you can filter traffic within your data center east-west bounds. And in addition, with these tools, the goal is eliminate the blind spots, in today and also future's SDN. Okay, lastly, the last one on the checklist, we have to ensure end-to-end quality of experience. Right? We need to ask this question: is the new SDN delivery the same or better quality of experience? Ultimately, what we're doing here is to provide a better service, with more agility, a higher quality of service. So the enterprise and service provider can really make a good profit out of it, right? And so our recommendation is before you can declare this is a better network for the futures, we need to make sure end-to-end application and service need to be tested. And our recommendation is using something like IX-Low multi-service emulations. We can emulate video, voice, data. We can emulate subscriber with different type of profile. And we can really quantify end-user experience, video and voice quality. And that is the ultimate check for best SDN services you can deliver. And I'm going to share with you two use cases, two examples. And these are the actual customer we have worked closely together. And we help them develop SDN equipments. We help a customer to transition to SDN. Right? So this first customer is a very large network equipment manufacturer. And they have developed, they have adopted BGP, eVPN to increase the data center scale. They use VXLAN to create network virtualization to support multi-tenancy. Right? And with the eVPN, it's a very, very high scale. This is actually made for hyperscale data center. Right? And the device under test is the lead switch. Lead switch has a lot of stringent requirements, especially in performance and scaling. You need to be pairing and fully mesh with all the other lead switches within the network. In order to test, to characterize the performance limit, you will have to set up a real network with hundreds and even thousands of other lead switches in order to find the scaling and performance limit. And this is cost prohibitive. Right? For network equipment manufacturer, for their QA, system QA test environment, the test tool is a must-have solutions. So we built a solution around eVPN VXLAN that will allow IX network to emulate hundreds of lead switches acting as a PE. And behind each lead switch, we can emulate thousands of EVI. Right? And so in this case, we can scale the number of channels, we can scale the number of lead switches, and then we can stress test the device under test. Right? So it's the result is we verify DUT's performance and really ensure they deliver what they say on their specifications, and we identify the potential issue before they deliver the product to the customer. And most importantly, this actually significantly reduces the cost of the system test setup. A second use case, this is a very, very large transportation company in Europe. Right? They have a very traditional IP and POS network. And their network is so big, so vast, there's already hundreds and hundreds of millions of investment already in place. So they want to take advantage of SDN. They want to migrate to SDN so they can take advantage of service delivery, service agility. This has always been an issue, for this company. And however, the biggest challenge is they are uncertain about which SDN implementations to pick and which one can actually meet their business objective. So they have very specific list of business objectives, what they want to do. And how can they pick a vendor that actually can deliver the performance they promise. So we have met with them and recommend pretty much a similar checklist I had just shown you earlier. And they, this is actually a work in progress right now, and so far working very well, giving them good results. With this checklist, they're going to go through the process to verify the controller performance and scaling, and looking at the switch fabric. Then again, out of the benchmark performance and scaling, and look into security, right? And look into resiliency, high availability, how well this network can recover from failure, and overall testing end-to-end services and see how they can meet their business objective. So this is a very good example, right, of testing as a must-have tool, testing as a must-have process to really ensure SDN can be deployed successfully and meet the objective of business. So in summary, Ixia test solutions, this is a very complex diagram, but it can show you the completeness of our test solutions in SDN and also NFV. SDN and NFV has always worked hand in hand, side by side. In testing underlay network, we use ICE network to test open flow and traditional IP MPLS network substrate. We also support overlay technology to achieve SDN, right? That including EVPN, VXLAN, traditional layer 2, layer 3 MPLS or GRE, and also this new upcoming Geneve. That's another promising, virtualized overlay solutions to achieve SDN. And we also have a complete solution to cover second routing. And for NFV, testing NFVI, NFV infrastructure, we have solutions like ICE network and ICE load, and really stress vSwitch, NIC, hypervisor, storage, and also VMware migrations. And for the services, virtualized services, VNF, right, we have a solution that can test vRouter, VPD, VEPC, because many of the network element has been virtualized, and that need to be fully validated, either using a physical test solution or a test solution with a virtualized interface. Right? So Ixia has a solution to cover the complete element to support SDN and NFV. So that's my presentation. Thank you.